Okay, after interruption number 511, hopefully I can answer this one question. Yeah, so about making your child feel like you care even while you're away. Honestly, it's a lot hard. It's a lot harder. No, it's a lot easier than you think. I know as mothers, sometimes we want to be able to clear our own minds, and you may think that to have that work-life balance specifically tailored towards your child, making sure your child feels loved since you have to be away so much, you may think that those 2 off days that you have, like I said, for example, if you work Monday through Friday, that doesn't mean that Saturday and Sunday have to solely be about your kids for that entire 48 hours. Even if you dedicate a couple hours a day to take your kids to do something fun, to give them attention, undivided attention, not thinking about the laundry that needs to be done, not thinking about, you know, the little boo that is trying to argue with you over text, not thinking about the Cardi B and Jermaine Dupri drama, not on Instagram, not on your phone, not none of that. Just give your child some time, some undivided time. Get up, make breakfast with them, have breakfast with them, eat breakfast with them at the table. It could just be like simple things that you could do just for a couple hours a day, and that will, your kid will totally appreciate that, and to them it will feel like, you know, you spent all day with them. Another thing to look into is if you get any type of benefits, specifically like SNAP food benefits. Girl, ain't nothing wrong with it, okay? You know, I'm not rich, okay? And especially, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you have multiple children or if you just have one child. If you qualify for SNAP, it helps. It's a huge benefit. In that way, you can use your own money on those unexpected things that come up and not, you know, on food all the time. Anyway, I said that to say, if you are eligible for SNAP benefits, look in your area and see what things they offer for individuals who are eligible for SNAP benefits. Meaning, out here in the Woodlands, they have a children's museum that is discounted for those of us who receive SNAP benefits. The zoo is discounted for those of us who receive SNAP benefits. And the children's museum that's way downtown Houston is completely free for families. I believe it's up to, I want to say it's up to like 4 children. I think it's up to like 6 people to like, yeah, they have more information about it on their website if you go check their website out. But the Children's Museum downtown Houston is completely free. I believe up to 6 people if you are eligible. Not only eligible, but you have to have the SNAP food benefit. You have to have proof of it. So like that letter that they send you that lets you know that you get it, you know, that you qualified or whatever, and it was approved on whatever date, and list the people that it was approved for. You have to bring that letter and your food stamp card. But like I said, for the 5th time, the Children's Museum is completely free. The zoo is discounted. The Children's Museum up here in the Woodlands is discounted. And I'm sure there might even be a few more things that you can do. But work-life balance is honestly not as hard as you may think it is. I know there was a point in time where I would cry. I would cry at night because I felt like although I asked God to give me a job to be able to provide for my children, I felt like I really wasn't around for them. And to be honest, that wasn't the case. But what was becoming a hindrance, really, in all actuality, was just like my phone and getting out on the weekend. You know, it's not hard to want to just sit at home and you know, kind of rest since you've been going and going and going all week. But if you want to have that work-life balance in those days that you're not working, you got, you know, do something with them, live, you know. And like I said, it doesn't have to be where you take your kid out all day long. Your baby's probably going to need a nap. You wear him or her out you know, enough, and they're gonna need a nap. So just I said all of that to say it's super easy to have a work-life balance. Do something with your kid on your day off, and just give them your undivided attention, even if it's for 2 hours. If you still have stuff that you need to get done on those off days, just let your kid come with you if you're able, if they behave, and if it's not like, you know, if it's not too serious of a matter that you need to take care of, let your kid come with you. My kids love going to even just simple as going to the grocery store, you know, and let them go down that dollar aisle, or, you know, show them the great value snacks and let them pick out something for $1. My son, if you have boys, I know Hot Wheels are $1. Just something, just little tokens, you know, and it makes your kid feel so special, and they don't even remember the fact that, you know, you had to work all week. Another thing I will say is, for during the week, you want to, you know, definitely pick your kid up from daycare at a reasonable time.
Mommy,
Yes?
I need to go to church.
Okay, baby, we're gonna go to church, but it's not open yet. When Mommy gets done with the video, then we can go, yeah?
Okay.
I promise, okay? Love you. So even like you see, my son, he loves to go to church. So we go spend, you know, a couple of hours at church all day, and that is something that he's going to cherish forever, and that he's you know, he's not even thinking about the fact that he had to go to school all week, you know, because we're gonna get out and we're gonna go do something today. What I was saying before he interrupted me, dang, what was I saying? Oh, so when you get off, don't just, I know it's so easy to want to get home. You don't feel like talking. You just want to you know, take your bath, maybe have dinner, and then like just kind of shut your brain off. But don't do that. I would encourage you to take your kid to the park after you think that while they're at school all day, they're playing and stuff like that. But think back to when you went to school. You had to stay in the building for a majority of the, you know, of the day, and you got to go out to recess maybe twice. So take your kid outside, even if it's just for 15 minutes. I promise you, like after 15 minutes, these kids are gonna want to go anyway because of how hot this summer has been. Another thing you can do to spend more time with your child during the week is, I like to cook meals that allow me to have leftovers. So we might eat a meal like 2 days in a row. Another thing I used to do was kind of like prepare the next day's dinner at night when they would go to sleep. I don't know, let's say it's, you know, I'm just trying to think of an example. Like something like baked chicken, you know, because baked chicken takes a couple of hours. So if you bake it that night, it's done. You put it in the fridge. Then the next day when you get home from work, all you really have to do is warm it up and maybe make a couple of sides. But that way you're not spending, because me personally being a single mom, there have been times where I pick my kid up from school and then I'm spending almost 2 hours in the kitchen just trying to make, you know, my baby something to eat for dinner. We have dinner, we take a bath, and I really didn't spend no time with my kids. Yes, I was around them, but my focus was in the kitchen and it wasn't with them. So if you can kind of take away some of that that cooking dinner time and finding, you know, more time throughout the week to spend with your kids, i.e. going to the park after you get off work and after they get out of school, having them cook with you. Also, like I said, just having your meals prepared ahead of time, eating leftovers. And another way to spice leftovers up is just to like throw some different sides in there. You know, let's say you're gonna have spaghetti again. You know, throw a couple of fruit snacks on the side, and maybe like some broccoli, maybe some corn. Like do different sides, you know, so that way, because kids can just be, you know, kids, and they can be picky and stuff, but that's a way to spice up your leftovers so it's literally not the same exact thing every day. And so finding those small, you know, moments of time to spend with your kids throughout the week can help with that work-life balance. We have what we call family movie nights. So especially during the summer, we've probably been watching a movie every single night. And so we'll have dinner, and then I'll go and I'll lay in my kids' room with them, and I'll watch about an hour or so of a movie with them. And then I gotta get up and maybe like clean the dishes and prepare for the next day, or, you know, whatever duties I might have, or, you know, because us moms, our jobs never really end. Maybe it's laundry, whatever the case may be. But even spending that hour with, I'm sorry, you guys, I had to take some pain medicine. So excuse me if I sound a little funny. I'm stuttering a little bit. But even that hour that you spent with them, just, you know, watching a movie, that makes a difference. Also, if your job has any sort of activities, see if your children can come. I know with some jobs, when they have meetings, they allow your children to be there. When I was a social worker, or when I was in social work, we would do a lot of activities for the community and for our clients. And I would bring my kid with me to those activities. So, you know, I had to work, but I was able to involve my children, and so it didn't seem like I was away so much. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's as simple as that. When I started to work full-time, when I worked part-time, and I'm talking about like me getting 30 hours was like a good thing. When I was working that part-time, I had a whole bunch of time to spend with my kids. You know, I had like 3 off days, sometimes even 4. So I spent a lot of time with my kids. But when I started to work full-time, that guaranteed 40 hours per week, sometimes a couple more hours, maybe 42 hours, I started to get down on myself about that work-life balance. But it's super simple as to just give your kids some time. Give your kids some time. If you have a gym membership, or you have like a YMCA membership, that's the other thing. Depending on your income, you can go and talk with your local Y. Sometimes they offer like scholarships or discounts for families based on their income, and you can get, you know, a membership for a very decent price. But if you have a gym that has like a children's area, take them with you. You know, there's so many little simple things that you can do with your kids, and you would be surprised at how much a difference it makes, and it makes them feel like, you know, they spent time with you. And then also, let's keep it real. Just because your daycare is open from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. doesn't mean that your child has to be there that long. One thing I love to do is get up and have breakfast with my kids, even if it's a Pop-Tart, or even if it's bacon and eggs. Just getting up with them and seeing their faces for an hour in the morning before I have to take them off to school, and, you know, they have to be there all day. At least it's like, what I'm trying to say is, it's like, you know, we're spending time together. Because I remember that, there was a point in time when I was working from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so, yes, after 2 p.m. I got to spend a lot of time with my kids. But, you know, in that morning, they would be asleep even still after I dropped them off at school. They would go into the classroom, sleep, because it was so early in the morning. So I just said that to say, depending on your work schedule, if you work a 9 to 6 or a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5, start getting in the habit. Go to bed at a decent time. Wake your kids up at a decent time. Have breakfast with them. You know, take them to school. And when you get off work, unless you have something pressing to do, that would, you know, be a lot easier without your children there, then I suggest that you go and get your kids. Don't leave them in school all day. And also, sometimes it's nice to involve them in those activities that you have to do after work, whether it's grocery shopping, or it's like getting something for their field trip in the next couple of days, or, I mean, I don't know. like anything other than really going to the bank or like going to see about your phone, you know, those are the type of places you don't want kids running around. But other than that, let your child go with you. Go get your child and then go do those things that you need to do, you know, before the night ends. And then just watch how much you're on your phone. You can be on your phone, you know, all the time. So, well, you know, make it a choice to try to like be on your phone less when your kids are still up and they're still wanting to interact with you. I saw a post that said, mommy, what did it say? It said something along the lines of like, mommy come play with me is basically like deeper than what you think, because kids don't say, hey, that's what it was. It was, kids don't say, hey, I had a long day at school. They say, mommy, come play with me. So just think about that. You know, you think about even yourself when you had a long day at work and you're just like, man, I just need somebody to talk to. I just want to, whatever, I just had a hard day. I need someone to talk to. I need to clear my head, etc. Kids aren't going to say that. But what kids will say is, mommy, come play with me. You know, they're trying to detox their day too. And so put your phone up and just give your kid some time, even if it's just an hour. That an hour in kid years is like all day. You know what I mean? All right. So I think I answered that question pretty thoroughly. And I pray I didn't talk in circles. Alrighty. I'm gonna go to my messages. Because I had a couple of questions in here as far as breastfeeding. I don't know if I'm going to, so I was thinking about having a whole totally different channel just specifically for breastfeeding, but because of the circumstances that have taken place this week, I don't think I'm gonna do that just yet. I don't think it's necessary. So I think I'll still continue to answer breastfeeding questions on this channel. But there was a couple of good ones that I just wanted to point out for my ladies who were kind of dealing with the same problem. Okay, so I had a couple of moms who have just recently had children and are trying out the breastfeeding thing, and the main issues that they're dealing with are the lumps in their breasts and you know, being engorged and not feeling like they're producing enough milk. So what I want to say first is that your body doesn't off top just start producing, you know, 5 ounces per feeding. Your body is going to increase production of milk as your baby's needs increase. Okay, so even, let's say you weren't breastfeeding, right? When your baby is first born, you only give them like an ounce of milk at a time. And then after a few weeks or maybe a couple of months, then you give them 2 ounces of milk per feeding. And then maybe another month, you give them 4 ounces. And then around, you know, 6-7 months, they're taking 6 ounces. And then by 8-9 months, they're doing like a whole 8-ounce bottle. It gradually increases, right? And the same thing happens with your breast milk. So if you're getting 2 ounces and your baby was just born a few days ago or, you know, a couple of weeks ago, that's great, because that's all that your baby needs. Your like I said, your production will increase as your baby's needs increase. okay? And so don't beat yourself up too much if you feel like, oh, I'm not I'm not making enough milk. 9 times out of 10 you are. The thing about breastfeeding though is that it digests way more easy in a baby's tummy than formula does. Oftentimes you'll be breastfeeding and your child will have a bowel movement or go potty right as they're eating, because that's how quickly the breast milk is able to move through your baby's body. With that said, that's why they eat a lot more frequently. And so as long as you're able to keep up with those feedings, you're doing good and you're doing just fine. A way to now when you're so that's just what I want to say as far as the amount of breast milk. And I'm sorry that this keeps going dark and light. It's just because I'm doing this during the daytime. Here we go, that should be better. But so as far as the amount of milk that you're producing, it is okay to only be producing 2 ounces or so. You don't have to come out the gate producing 5 ounces per breast of milk, because one, your body has to, just like I explained with the formula, your body has to gradually increase to that level of production, and your body works with your baby's needs. So that's what I want to say about the amount that you're producing. You're most likely producing the correct amount, and that's great. Now, if you're wanting to have more, if you're wanting to have an excess amount, say for those of you who have to put your kid in daycare, or you have someone who's babysitting your kid and you still want them to be on breast milk, then what you need to do is continue to pump after